She is a passionate philosophy professor,
fitness professional,
and motivational speaker. She helps strengthen the body, but she also helps strengthen the mind.
The mind?
The mind.
For well over a decade, she has led philosophy courses within the university system of Georgia.
She leads group fitness classes in Atlanta,
as well as leading one-on-one personal training sessions. Let's all squat wisely with Kristen Hester.
Guys, I am back once again for hopefully a really quick episode. And I want it to be quick because it is a reflection of what I want to talk about today. My topic of focus relates to when it's meant to be. When it's meant to be. A lot of you who have been listening to the show for a while now, you have probably heard my advertisement related to my speaking. Well, for the past few years, off and on, that is something that I've been doing. I have been fortunate enough to speak at different events, and it's just been a tremendous experience for me, something that I really enjoy and I have a lot of fun doing. And I actually have a speaking engagement that is fast approaching, and that's one of the main reasons why I want this episode to be short. It seems like whenever it is time for me to speak, I either catch a cold, randomly I'll become hoarse, and just weird stuff happens close to the time when I need to speak. So I'm trying really hard to protect my voice and my vocal cords. So that's why I want this episode to be short, but I also want it to be sweet and meaningful as well. So I have a quote that ties into something that will really drive the whole point of this podcast home today, or this particular episode home today. And I kind of want to set the stage first before I get into the quote. So, like I said, I've been doing speaking for a while off and on, and I am a part of a particular company that helps speakers to book events, and they help us to, get the quotes out there to the clients so the clients can decide if they want to lock us in as the talent. And so that's what happened to me very recently. Someone found me, they saw my videos and my work, and they wanted me to speak at an event. Now, one of the things about my life, I am a college teacher, as you guys know. I'm also a fitness professional, as you guys know. And so speaking is really something that it's not, the main thing in my life. You know what I mean? It's like it's there, but it's not the main thing that is there. So if I'm going to do a speaking engagement, I prefer to at least have 30 days preparation time, especially if they want me to tailor something very specific for their event. So when this person contacted me, their event was like 2 weeks out when they first contacted me. So, 2 weeks is still pushing it, but because of what they were looking for, I felt like I could pull it off. And I gave her a fee for when she first contacted me when it was 2 weeks out. And so they messed around. And so now it's less than 2 weeks out. And one of the things that I try my best to do when people reach out to me, even if they reach out to me and it's comfortable time, I always try to give them an out to let them know, look, don't feel obligated or pressured to lock me in as the speaker for the event. I tell them there is a lot of great talent on the website. If I can't accommodate your needs, I am confident you will find someone who can. I want your event to be great with or without me. That's kind of how I always end my quotes. I want your event to be great with or without me. So now as the days are going by and it is less than 2 weeks, to the start of this event, they still haven't decided if they wanted to really lock me in or not. So I figured, maybe she forgot or maybe they moved forward with someone else. And I was totally fine with that. So then she contacts me again and she sends me this email. We want to confirm and lock you in as the speaker for this event. So I said, when you first contacted me, the event was 2 weeks out, but now we are less than that. So my quote is going to be very different because you want me to tailor something very specific for your event. So I said, again, there is a lot of great talent on that site, but my fee now would be a completely different fee because time has passed. So she said, look, just tell me what the fee is. So I told her the fee. And, I said, look, again, like I always do, I'll understand, either way. If not, again, really, I'm trying to give them an out because I personally feel the pressure of trying to pull together something great. So I'm like, look, if you want to consider someone else, I'm highly encouraging you to consider it. So I upped my fee, and I still try to be reasonable with my fee. So I'm not one of these people, because I know some speakers who, for certain events, to me, it's just somewhat ridiculous what their fee is. But, I try my best to be reasonable. But at the same time, when time is slipping by, I'm like, look, I'm really trying to encourage you to consider someone else. I'm thankful that you're thinking of me, but please don't feel obligated to lock me in. So I increased my fee, and I really thought by me increasing my fee, I thought that was going to deter this particular event planner from wanting to lock me in for the event. So again, time passed, and first thing the other day, early in the morning, she's writing me saying, look, I'm ready to pay the full fee right now. And that's exactly what happened. Thankfully, I had basically one full week to pull something together. And I'm really feeling great about what it is I'm going to deliver. But it was really something I was trying really hard to fight off. I was really trying hard to get her to consider someone else, to give someone else this opportunity. And it reminds me of this quote from a author. She's a New York Times bestseller. She became very famous as a blogger. So she's not really a philosopher in the traditional sense, but the way I see it, we're all philosophers when we share our own bits of wisdom. And something that this person said, her name is Mandy Hale, and Mandy is Mandy. Hale is Hale. So Mandy Hale, she has a quote that says, "Not all things will come easy, but all things meant for you will come without stressing or forcing or manipulating or controlling." Not all things will come easy, but all things meant for you will come without stressing or forcing or manipulating or controlling. That drives home something very important that I want to close out this particular episode with today. What is meant to be is meant to be. Even when you try hard to hand it over to someone else, to hand over the opportunity, when it is meant to be for you, it will happen when you are trying very hard to not make it happen. Just as Mandy said, you won't force it, you won't stress it. I was not stressed about that event at all. If my mom was on here, she'll tell you, I was trying so hard to get them to work with someone else, because my life is full. I'm busy, and I was their main focus from the start. And I was trying so hard to shift their attention off of me. But no matter how hard I was trying to fight their focus off of me, they were fixed on making sure I was going to be the person to deliver what they were looking for their event. And what's interesting about that to me is I remember when I first started out trying to speak, and I was first trying to get exposure. I was wanting people to hear me. I was wanting to have these opportunities. So my eyes were wide open, and I was very open to all of the possibilities, all of the opportunities that were, possibly out there for me. And so here it is now, I have, more videos. I have, more exposure. I have people who are well aware of what I'm capable of as a speaker. And I'm a little bit more comfortable. I'm more relaxed in comparison to when I first started. So now my eyes are not as wide open. Even when the opportunity is there, back when I first started, I would jump on that opportunity. I mean, regardless of what was going on in my life, because I was just so excited to get the exposure and, to be, feeling worthy as a speaker and to be called upon as a speaker. And I was just all in. And so now that I have a little bit more experience, the opportunity is right there. The blessing is right there. But I'm so busy trying to force it over to someone else that I'm missing out on my appreciation for those early days when I would have been so thankful to have been called on, and not just called on, but also called on with the opportunity for someone to pay me to actually speak. So sometimes we have to check ourselves. We have to go back to what we were hungry for, what we were really desiring and setting up our goals for. Because we can get really relaxed once the doors start opening and the walls start tumbling down. We forget about the earlier resistance that we had when we were just getting started. We lose sight of those early beginnings. And trust me, I'm still someone in the early phase of being a professional speaker. But again, the hard start is not my reality anymore. Just as I was thankful back then when it was harder for me to have opportunities, I need to be equally thankful for when I don't have to stress and when I don't have to force when the opportunities come, even today. I need to be just as thankful for the hard times as well as the times when it flows freely and with ease. So allow that to be something that you incorporate in your own life. When we're just getting started with something, we have our goals and we're fighting for it. We're hungry for it. We're appreciative when any sign of it shows up. Well, when you get beyond that phase and when it becomes a little bit easier, be just as thankful. Be just as appreciative, because there was a time where you did have to force. You were stressing. But when that time is no more, that means that it is really meant for you. And appreciate the fact that it has finally come to pass. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode today. I hope that you got something from it. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you are liking the show, please head over to Facebook and search Squat Wisely to like our Facebook page. You can also subscribe to the podcast by searching Squat Wisely on iTunes and Stitcher. You can search Squat Wisely on iHeartRadio as well to enjoy the show. If you are liking the show, or even if you think it could be improved somehow, please head over to iTunes and leave a review on iTunes under Squat Wisely. If you search Squat Wisely, you'll see an option where you can leave a review for the show, and I'll greatly appreciate that, positive or negative. Guys, thank you again for listening, and I'll be back next time to do this all over again.
You've been listening to the Squat Wisely podcast. Professor Kristen Hester is a philosophy professor, fitness professional, and motivational speaker. For well over a decade, she's led philosophy courses within the university system of Georgia. Kristen leads group fitness classes in Atlanta, as well as leading one-on-one personal training sessions. She strengthens the body as well as the mind. We'll see you next time on the Squat Wisely podcast with Professor Kristen Hester.